assuming you have just the one head, although it is, spooky season, so who knows. Hello, Viber friends. It is finally October, and today we are talking about some spooky knitting patterns you can finish by Halloween. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, I hope you'll stick around. Hello again, knitting friends. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Kristen, and today I'm going to be talking to you about spooky patterns for Halloween. I am also apologizing in advance because my neighbor is having their fence replaced. Hopefully that's not too loud. So what I'm going to be sharing are 10 quick patterns that you can finish by Halloween, and then at the end I'm going to throw in a few sweaters that maybe you want to think about for next year. But first, since it is October, the best month of the year, that also means it's almost time for the Knit Your Own Adventure Summit. This is a completely free online event for knitters to help you build confidence with your knitting skills. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, there's a link to sign up in the description box, or you can scan the QR code that is on the screen. Get registered for free. That starts next week on October 7th, and it is 3 days of presentations from knitting experts, pattern designers, teachers, and the like, along with some other special events along the way. So again, I hope you will check that out if you are looking to build up your knitting skills and become more confident as we get into the knitting season. And you can sign up at that link or scan the QR code. All right, some spooky patterns for Halloween. So as I said, I want to start off with some patterns that I think reasonably you could expect to finish by Halloween. In an ideal world, maybe we would have started these patterns last month or the month before, but here we are, it's October and we didn't, and we still want some cute stuff for Halloween. We still have options, and that is key. So, as you might imagine, the quicker projects are a lot of accessories or decor for your home. The first one I want to share is this Autumn Doodle Cup Cozy. As you can see, there are actually a couple little patterns here. So there's a pumpkin cup cozy, a ghost, and a bat. These are absolutely darling. They take so little yarn to knit these up. Thank you, fence guys. If you are getting your pumpkin spice lattes and your other festive fall drinks, these are just adorable for making your little beverages a little bit cozier, a little bit more fallish. So the Autumn Doodle Cup Cozy is a pattern by Jamie Lomax. If you're not familiar with Jamie, she is doing all of the doodle things. So the cowls and the infinity scarves, cup cozies, and other things with lots of small stranded knitting motifs that you can combine together to make an overall themed motif. So this pattern is available for just $2 on Ravelry. It uses DK weight yarn. And there's actually also, I don't see it in the pictures here, but it says that the main motifs include pumpkin, bat, ghost, and acorn and leaves. I don't see that in the photos here, but something to look forward to. And obviously you can definitely use scrap yarn for this. They're just so cute. So cute. Absolutely love those. So that's definitely a really quick project. You can probably pump out a bunch of those by Halloween. Absolutely adorable Autumn Doodle Cup Cozy. There are, as you might imagine, lots of little pumpkin decor patterns all over Ravelry, and I actually want to highlight two in particular. So the first one is Cute Little Pumpkin Patch. This is a pattern from Nimble Needles that is available for $6.11 on Ravelry. It uses fingering weight yarn, and it creates this very realistic pumpkin with the kind of seam lines along the sides of your pumpkins. So if you were looking for a pumpkin that is a little bit more realistic and true to nature, this is going to be a really cute choice. It says that scrap quantities of fingering weight yarn. Now, if you want pumpkins, it's got to be orange, generally speaking, but you don't need a lot of yarn. And it says that the instructions can be used for bigger needles and heavier yarns as well. Obviously, you're going to get bigger pumpkins if you use heavier yarn. And it also includes the little vines that are there with the pumpkins if you want to include that. So that is it's just so cute. If you're looking for a very nature intense garden accurate pumpkin, this is a good choice. So that's a pattern by Norman Schwartz, and that is available again on Ravelry for about $6. The next one is a lot less accurate and realistic, but also looks like it's probably fun to knit, and that is the Brioche Pumpkin Patch. So this might especially be a good choice if you're looking to get into brioche. You need a small project to kind of learn the techniques. This is a pattern by Linda Selleck, and it is available for $5 on Ravelry. It says they are knit in the round and includes instructions on how to customize the size of your pumpkin. So each pumpkin would use 2 colors. The suggested yarn is Cascade 220. So obviously you just kind of need a basic worsted weight yarn. This one, it doesn't need to be necessarily orange, just 2 contrasting colors. And they're just adorable. So again, this one, not such realistic looking pumpkins, but they look like they're really fun to knit. So again, that one is the Brioche Pumpkin Patch. If you have small people in your life, maybe they're not quite ready for a full-on Halloween costume, maybe they need a little candy corn hat. This is so cute. So it's not just for kids, but it is does just come in a single size that is probably closer to kids than many adults. So this is a pattern by Sarah Sagasser. It is available for free. It does look like it just includes the one size medium. Use smaller needles, thinner yarn, you get a smaller hat, bigger needles, bigger yarn, bigger hat. So it calls for a worsted weight yarn. Obviously you need it in some specific colors for candy corn, but you don't need a whole lot of it. So white, orange, yellow. So the pattern page says it just is available with a medium, in a medium size, but I'm just going to take a peek at the actual pattern. No, it does include 3 sizes, so I'm not sure why the pattern page says just one size. So it includes instructions for a small, medium, large. Does not, however, seem to say what small, medium, and large are equivalent to. But again, it's a free pattern, so you can kind of play around and experiment with it. This one is going to be really cute, especially for little kids, or maybe, I know a lot of schools don't really do dress up these days for Halloween, but maybe, if you want to wear a little kind of festive hat in your classroom, might be a choice for that. But looks like a relatively straightforward pattern, and I know candy corn is a little controversial, but the hat is really cute. Another adorable little pattern that maybe would be cute for the young person in your life is Boo the Bat. This is a pattern by Anna Ratchevek, and it is available on Ravelry for $5. It says this little bat is a quick knit featuring wraparound wings and feet that can hang from your finger or the nearest tree branch. Recommended yarn is Cascade 220. So again, you just need a worsted weight in a couple of colors. You don't need a whole lot of it. You don't need specific colors. Yes, bats are traditionally black, but you can do whatever you want here. I love he has little fangs. That is just so cute. And this would be a really cute little stuffy for a kid in your life coming up on Halloween, especially if perhaps your house gets visits from the Switch Witch who grabs some of that candy and trades it in for other things so your kids don't overdo it with the Halloween sweets. Boo the Bat. All right, getting back into some wearables for adults. Can we finish a pair of socks by Halloween? Probably, if we're pretty dedicated. And she's got a lot of Halloween patterns, but I specifically wanted to highlight the I'm Batty for Halloween socks by Stone Knits. They're socks with bats on them, and they're adorable. There are several different samples on the pattern page. So there's purple with black bats, orange with black bats, and then also it looks like a color changing yarn with black bats. So you really have a lot of options here. These are so cute. I've been really sad that I really wanted a pair of Halloween socks, and I don't have any good Halloween theme sock yarn colors in my stash, sadly. I should probably grab some balls of Knit Pick Stroll in holiday colors, like pinks and reds for Valentine's Day and blacks and oranges for Halloween and reds and greens for Christmas, so that I have those on hand. The recommended yarn here is Malabrigo sock, and the pattern is available for $5, 5 francs, is that it? I don't know, or $6.56 US. The pattern includes 3 sizes, and she always has a promo going, which is buy 3, get 1 free for her sock patterns, and she has tons and tons of stranded sock patterns. These are sort of on the short side as well. Obviously, you can make them as long as you want, but that's, knitting a shorter sock is going to make this more likely to be done by Halloween. They are knit from the top down, simple back colorwork throughout the leg and foot with contrasting heels and toes. So really cute. If you are a Bat fan, they are adorable. And definitely check out her other Halloween themed socks as well. But these are the I'm Batty for Halloween from Stone Knits. If you are interested in sort of a stranded colorwork project, but you're not really sure about finishing socks by Halloween, this is going to be a good choice for you. This is the Spooky Night Beanie. This is a pattern by Erin Gates. Obviously, this is a hat, and it is worked up in an Aran weight yarn. So that's going to go a lot more quickly than fingering weight socks, and you only have to knit 1, assuming you have just the 1 head, although it is, spooky season, so who knows. Let's see what we have to say about this. So again, this is using an Aran weight yarn, 3 colors, written instructions, and then the main Fair Isle section is charted. She is using Malabrigo worsted for this, and obviously this is done in pretty standard Halloween colors, but you could do whatever colors you liked, and we love these little ghosties that are on here, and I also like that folded brim. So the pattern includes just 1 size, but it has notes on how to modify for, it's with a stranded colorwork. It's a little tricky to modify because the repeat of the little ghost is probably rather large, but changing your needle size may help. And I do like it with that little faux fur pom-pom on top. That is a special cute touch. So again, that one is the Spooky Night Beanie, available on Ravelry for $6. Speaking of ghosts, we have the Ghost Stories cowl. This is a pattern by Melissa Kemmerer. She has a couple, I think, of ghost stories themed, like there may be a hat and maybe something else that have the similar sort of flying ghosts motif throughout. So this is available on Ravelry for $6. This uses a DK weight yarn, and obviously it's a cowl, so just the 1 size. It's pretty standard. So the Ghost Stories cowl is an adorable way to show off your love for Halloween. 2x2 ribbing on the top and bottom, and Fair Isle ghosts throughout the middle that are spooky and flying, and I just love them. The recommended yarn is Emma's Yarn Simply Spectacular DK, which is sold in 100 gram, 255 yard skeins. And she says if you get, so the recommended yarn colors are Oh My Gourd and Ghost Stories. And she says you can get 2 cowls out of just the 2 skeins if you reverse the colors on your second cowl. And that is adorable. Now, this was published last October, so I don't know if this yarn is still available. I haven't heard of it before, and I don't know if those are like special colors that she dyed just for last Halloween or whatever. You would definitely have to look into that, but you can use whatever DK weight yarn you have and get your very own little flying ghosty cowl. So again, that one is available on Ravelry for $6. Again, if you think you can get a pair of socks done by Halloween, then I think these are absolutely adorable. This is the Nocturnal Sock. This is a pattern by Saskia & Company, which used to be the Petite Knitter, not Petite Knit. And she recently changed her brand name. And these have a little sort of moon and creepy black cat on them with a couple of other motifs along the foot. And I just love the color choice here. The sort of burnt orange, the black, and the white. So this pattern is available on Ravelry for $9 Canadian or $6.75 US. And the pattern includes many, many sizes. Obviously, this is stranded color work. They are worked from the top down. There is a kitty in the picture. We love kitties. So these are sized for basically everyone. They go from a 4 3/4 inch foot 4.5-inch foot circumference to a 12.5-inch foot circumference. So that is basically kids to adult large. Obviously they use a fingering weight yarn. The yarn in particular used here looks like La Bien-Aimée Mondim. The Mondim is the sort of burnt orange caramel color, and the other black and the white are Biche Bouche Le Petit Lamb's Wool, which I don't know if I would use that for socks. That's I don't find that to be a super sturdy yarn, so I think they would wear out kind of quickly. But black and white fingering weight yarn you can get pretty much anywhere. So love that. Love that it is sized for basically your entire family. They are so cute. They're little kitty cats. We love them. I like that as a take on a Halloween project. And again, if you are an experienced Serena colorwork knitter, you can probably knock those out by Halloween. So that one is the Nocturnal Sock. And then the last one I want to show you, this is just so cute. This is the Colorwork Halloween Witch. This is a pattern by Amy Munson. It is available on Ravelry for $6.99, and it makes these cute little Halloween witches, each wearing their own sort of Halloween-esque jumper, dress, I don't know. But it has a little hat and a scarf and little gray hair, and it's adorable. A charming hand-knit creation, perfect for adding a touch of spooky whimsy to your seasonal decor. Standing at just the right size for display, knit in the round, playful stranded colorwork details, classic pointed hat, and enchanting features. Oh, that's so cute. So, of course, there's only one size of these, up or down. Needles, yarn is going to make them bigger or smaller. The recommended yarn is sport weight. I believe it looks like she used Wool of the Andes Sport. And she gives you all of the colors that she used here in case you want your witch to look exactly the same. But pretty much any kind of sport weight yarn for this sort of project that's, it's not like you're wearing it, it's just sitting about. It doesn't need to have any specific characteristics. And it says that the yardage is about 150 to 200 yards total, but of course you only need a little bit of each color. So, you need the most of like a black or a solid for the body, and a dark color for the hat, and then sort of a skin tone, and then all of the other colors are going to be just small little bits. So I think these are adorable. They really are just darling. So if you like little guys to add to your collection, I think that's going to be a good choice. So again, that's the Colorwork Halloween Witch. Now, could we finish a Halloween sweater by Halloween? Maybe if we really push it, but we don't need that kind of pressure. So I just want to share a few Halloween themed sweaters that maybe you thinking about now for next year. So the first one, continuing our love of cats here, is the Pumcat pullover by Renard and Dormy. This is available for €9.85 or $12.07 on Ravelry. It includes lots and lots of sizes. This is sized for the whole family. So it includes child 4 to 6 up to a men's 4XL. That is quite a lot of sizes. And as you can see, it has this adorable jack-o'-lantern and cat motif around the yoke. This uses a DK weight yarn. So at least it's not a fingering weight, which certainly would make for a much slower sweater. And she has her samples done in very Halloween, sort of orange, brown, blacks colors. And definitely you could branch out and try some other colors, but I think it really does look cute and festive in the seasonal colors. Obviously, this one is a circular yoke done in stranded colorwork, and she has a really helpful list of all of the different, so it looks like each one uses one main color and 3 contrast colors, and she's given you a really helpful breakdown of exactly how much of each of those you need for each of these sizes. So this pattern is available in English and French. There are some other projects on Ravelry, but most people have opted to do it sort of in the same kind of Halloween colors. So not a whole lot of variety from the original here. As we said, we probably can't get this one done for this year, but we could get it done for next year and knit them for the whole family. Kids love that, right? So again, that one is the Pumcat sweater, available on Ravelry from Renard and Dormy. If you like your Halloween sweaters a little spookier, I would suggest the Boneyard Sweethearts sweater. This is another colorwork yoke featuring skeletons and ghosts. So a bit creepier than our cats and pumpkins. The skeletons are holding hands with the little ghosts at their feet like a dog. This is a pattern from Stephanie Lotvin or Telly Bean Knits. It's available on Ravelry for $8.50. This is available in 10 sizes and it uses a DK weight yarn. This was published a couple of years ago. She has, looks like 2 samples shown on the main page, but there are over 150 projects on Ravelry. Hi, what's up? Okay. He heard me say cat, so, and he's orange, so it's Halloween themed. He fits right in. As I was saying, there are over 150 projects on Ravelry, so you can see different versions, but this is really cute. And I like the interesting color choices she's made here with the pink really standing out for, oh, and there are little ghosts around the cuff. That is just too cute. So yes, if you like a slightly creepier Halloween knit, this might be a good choice for you. And definitely people have made some really interesting color choices that you can look through on the projects. So the recommended yarn is USA DK by Lolo Did It. I'm not familiar with that yarn, but it looks like it's a 100% merino DK, so pretty easy to substitute. And this particular designer has lots of other Halloween patterns as well if you want to check that out. So each sweater, it looks like, uses 1 main color and 3 contrast colors. Some of them you really don't use very much of, and you could probably use some scrap yarn in there. So it's 10 sizes. What are the bust measurements? The finished bust measurements from 32 up to 68 inches. So pretty size inclusive as well. Again, that one is the Boneyard Sweethearts sweater by Stephanie Lotvin. And last but not least, I want to share this more subtle option for your Halloween sweater, and that is Arachne by Andy Satterland. This is, she released this several years ago. I remember it coming out, and now it is available. You can't get it directly from Ravelry. You have to go on her Patreon, and I don't know what the deal is with all of that, but it is a really cute, love this spider web, sort of more subtle Halloween option for you. So the sweater is sized from extra small to 6X, 34 up to 69-inch bust, and it uses a sport weight yarn. The suggested yarn is Elemental Effects Cormo Sport. I do not know anything about that yarn, but obviously it's a 100% Cormo yarn. Substituting in other wool yarns is probably going to work fine, and obviously you need 2 colors for the spider web yoke. Classic top-down circular look pullover with stranded colorwork, vintage inspired fit, with waist shaping, deep ribbing, and 3/4 length sleeves. You're knitting from the top down, so it's easy to make the sleeves longer, make the body longer, shorter, whatever you need to do. So it says that the pattern is available from $9 on her Patreon. I don't know if that's like the monthly level that you have to I don't know any of that information, so you can definitely check that out if you are interested. But I really like this as a little bit of a more subtle take on Halloween spookiness. So again, that is Arachne by Andy Satterland. All right, friends, those are all the patterns I have to share with you today. All of them are linked in the bundle that is in the description box down below, along with some extras as usual. I think there are over 25 patterns in there for all of your Halloween needs. Don't forget about the Knit Your Own Adventure Summit. It is coming up in just a few days, and it is absolutely free. So go ahead and click the link to sign up or scan this QR code. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you found it fun or entertaining, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Medio Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.